Rev up your engines for the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast with Big E. Proudly sponsored by Christensen Law, where bikers helping engine bikers is more than just a motto. It's our commitment to the biker community. Be sure to tune in and listen to the latest news and biker buzz. And for all your personal injury needs, be sure to contact the Christensen Law team at 248-900-9000. What's up, bikers? It's Big E, and you're listening to the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. We're talking all things bikes, the freedom of the road, and the brotherhood that makes this lifestyle what it is. From killer tips to wild stories from the highway, we've got it all right here. Life is short, bikers, so let's get after it. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. We have, unfortunately not in studio, but on the other end of the phone, Mack Blank, and he is one of the builders for the Wyld Stallions motorcycle build-off. Welcome to the podcast, Mack.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. This is going to be epic. So is this your first time doing this, or you did it before, didn't you?
I did build last year, yeah.
Yeah.
So last year was my first time building a bike for any sort of competition.
And how did you do last year?
I mean, I think I built a rad bike. I didn't win the trophy, but I'm thrilled with the bike that I built for what it is.
You still have it?
I do, yeah. So I wound up blowing it up at the end of last season. I was running to the grocery store to pick up some medicine, and on my way home, it decided it didn't want to run anymore. So I just got done doing an engine build on it again. It's back in, and I'm probably going to wind up actually listing it for sale here in the next couple weeks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't really have room for too many motorcycles in my garage.
Really, that's the issue. That's like a real issue for people.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue, and unfortunately, most of them are gold wings right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's really a bad thing. I mean, gold wings.
I love gold wings.
Gold wings a cool bike. I mean,
I love gold wings. I'm building a gold wing for this year's competition. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you? I want to say the guy's on Facebook is Blackwing. Have you seen that guy?
No.
So he like took a gold wing and like turned it like street glide-ish. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You should look for that. I think he's over in Canada.
Okay, I'll have to look for it. This one will not be street glide-ish in any way, shape, or form.
No.
It will not resemble your average gold wing in any shape or form as well.
All right. That's pretty cool.
So You'll look at the motor and know it's a gold wing, but outside of that, not much of it's going to be gold wing anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
All right. So, I know you said that you listened to some of Nick's interview.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you listened to it, but so I've been asking the builders all the same 10 questions. So it's going to be your turn. I'm going to put you up against the firing squad here, and let them rip here. So what's your initial vision for your build, and how do you see it evolving?
So my initial vision for it is like cafe racer.
Okay.
So I'm going to be I'm going to be building, a whole tail section for it. I'm doing a completely different gas tank, carbs, set of sport bike forks, and then wire wheels on it. So it's my take on a cafe racer, I should say.
Nice.
Yeah. As far as the evolution, I don't really do a picture. Like, I have an image in my head, and then it just evolves from there. And, I go for more function over form, I guess you'd say.
Right.
So, I mean, it's got to be appealing to the eye as well, but I'm not like, it's not going to have any fairings or anything like that. No big front headlight. So it's going to be a very naked bike.
Cool. So what inspired your theme or style for this year's bike? Why did you all of a sudden decide to do this cafe racer style?
Honestly, I had it sitting in my garage already. I had started the build a few years back, and it just never turned into what I wanted. So I just kind of shoved it off to the corner. And this year's build came around. Derek asked if I wanted in, and I was like, yep, I absolutely want in. No idea what I was going to build. I was just out in my garage working on a different bike, and I looked in the corner, and there's this gold wing that I had started on, and I had done quite a bit to it. I was like, you know what? I've wanted to finish this for the last couple of years, so why not just make it this year's build bike so that I have a reason to finish it?
Right. So and it gives you a little bit of a head start. How do you feel about the timeline for the whole bike build? Do you think they give you enough time?
Yeah, it should be enough time. I'm very far behind because I didn't get parts ordered like I should have in the beginning. But I don't see it being a huge issue. It was the same thing with last year. I had pretty much everything I needed for it, but I didn't really start building it until about 2 months in. Like, I got it all cut up. I figured out how I was going to do it, got things started, but it wasn't until like the 2-month mark where I really started to make a lot of headway on it.
Okay. So what is the first part of the build that you're focusing on, and why?
I honestly, it'll be the whole subframe that I have to build. Because I have to have that built in order to know where I want the suspension at, where the gas tank is going to mount, how the carbs are going to fit into it. So that'll be my first part of building that. So
you haven't even started?
I have cut the bike up.
Yeah.
But no, I have.
You haven't started putting it back together yet?
Yeah, I haven't quite started putting it back together yet.
Oh.
I've been super busy with family stuff for the beginning part of this build season.
Okay, so how do you, I think you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to ask you, how do you approach planning and sketching out your ideas before building? You don't like sit down and sketch and draw something out. You just pretty much go off a vision you have.
I kind of so it's the same thing with last year. I had no idea how I was going to build the bike. I knew what my ultimate goal with the bike was. And I just took, a lot of the inspiration of people that had built bikes. So last year I built a Virago.
Okay.
Hardtail Viragos are not common.
No.
So they're very not common. I mean, I've seen more of them after building mine than I had ever seen prior to that. So, the inspiration from what other people have already built was super limited. So I had to do a lot of that part, a lot of the figuring out of that on my own. But, I basically just look at kind of what other people have built and how they've built them and, morph it into my own personal style.
Right.
So I have a basic vision of what it is, and then it just kind of evolves as I'm building it.
Right. It seems like that is what most of the builders are doing, the same thing. Pretty much everybody I've talked to has kind of said the same thing. I don't sit there and draw something out and I have a vision in my head and I work towards that vision kind of thing.
Yeah. And like I said, my vision is, while I'm building it, my vision is evolving. It's like I wind up building something like last year, for instance. I wound up building a lot of the bike, and then I didn't like most of it, so I cut it all off and redid it. So, I wound up building the tail section 2 times, essentially. I wound up doing the fender mounts, the sissy bar twice. Pretty much everything else was just one and done. But like the big main components of it, I wound up doing a couple times because, you know, I'd get it done and I'm like, oh, I don't really like it. So I'd cut it off and redo it.
Right. So what do you think is going to be the most challenging aspect of this build?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'd say probably getting the sport bike forks to work on a Goldwing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even think that that's going to be super challenging. It's just a matter of, you know, figuring out what set of forks will fit the length of the neck, and then you get a set of bearings according to the neck size and the fork size. I mean, it's not super complicated, but I think that'll be the most difficult part. Either that or tuning the carbs that I want to run on the bike.
Mm.
So I don't want to run the stock carbs. I want to run a set of downdraft Weber IDF 40s on it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
So on either side of the gas tank, I'll have a set of carbs with velocity stacks coming up right next to the gas tank.
Right.
So
That'd be pretty badass.
It should be pretty
yeah.
cool when it's done.
Yeah, that'd look pretty cool. So, do you have any specific materials or techniques you're excited to experiment with this year?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty much all stuff I've been doing for years. You know, just kind of playing around with it on my own, having fun. You know, I'm a fabricator. I'm a welder. I do all the paint and body work on it, all the wiring, all the tuning. Everything is done by me in house. All the upholstery.
Wow, you're a very knowledgeable individual, then, I would say, to be able to do all that stuff yourself.
This is something that has been a driving force in my life for a very long time. I was actually a master certified motorcycle mechanic. I did that for about 10 years. I just recently got out of the industry.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm multi-brand certified, state certified still. I carry all that still active to this day.
Wow. Boy.
And I mean, you know, it was 10 years in the industry, and then, you know, probably a good 10 or 12 years prior to that, I was working on my own bikes, working on friends' bikes. I was building custom bikes for myself, building them to sell every once in a while.
Nice. So, what is one feature or concept you're determined to include in your final design?
Definitely the Weber carbs.
Yeah, that's going to make it look pretty unique, I think.
It'll definitely be a very standout part of the bike, and you know the image that I have in my head, I don't think will look quite right without those Webers on it.
Yeah. Whether
I fit on the bike with it or not is to be determined, but I think that's something that, you know, I'm really pushing towards having on there.
Right.
I can fit comfortably with them on the bike.
What? That's cool. Yeah, I think that's gonna be everyone I've talked to has got some really unique ideas to make their bikes kind of stand apart. So that's gonna be cool to see it all. I'm excited.
Yeah,
for that.
I'm kind of excited to see what everyone else is building.
Yeah. So, how do you prioritize functionality versus aesthetics at this early stage? You pretty much already said.
I mean, you know, form more or less function comes more over form, but you kind of have to include both together. Like, you can't just be all form, because then it could just wind up being something that's not appealing to the eye. And it can't all be, or the other way around, it can't be all function, because then the form might not necessarily be appealing to the eye, and it can't be all form, because then it doesn't function properly.
Right.
You know, so I mean, there's definitely some give and take on that. There will be parts where I'm leaning more towards the form of it over the function of it. Like, I'm not necessarily going to ride the thing on long trips, so I'm not super concerned about how comfortable or uncomfortable the seating position may or may not be.
Right.
like I'm going for more of a look of it. It's more than, like I said, I want it to be kind of like a cafe racer, like sport bike almost.
Right. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. I'm just so geeked to see these bikes.
I am too.
So
I really am. And like based on what I saw last year, the work that I've so far seen coming from pretty much every person that's in this year's competition, it's going to be a pretty tough build competition for everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody is going to have to pretty hard to get the edge over anyone else.
Right. And there's going to be some unique things, man. It's going to be way cool. I cannot wait.
Yeah, there's definitely some impressive ones out there.
Yeah. All right. So is there anything that you've learned from past builds that you're applying to this one from the start?
Just finish on time, I guess, would be it. I mean, last year I finished with plenty of time. I was tuned, running. I think last year I was the only person that actually rode to Owasso for the show.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure everyone else trailered into the show. And I prior to the show, I think I probably put 400 or 500 miles on my bike prior to the show, just riding to and from work, just to make sure that, everything was going to be good and I'd make it to the show in one piece.
It sounds like this year that a few of them are planning on riding it into the show. So
this year we're planning on doing a ride from Brighton area all the way up to Owasso.
Nice.
And I think we're going to be doing like back roads. So that's something that Derek, Nick, and I had talked about doing, is actually putting a ride together for builders, for people that are friends of builders, whoever wants to go and ride into the show.
Right.
So that was something we had talked about, and I think we'll wind up doing that.
Yeah, that's way cool. So what's the most exciting part of starting a new build for you?
I would say figuring out what you're doing with it, like what your ultimate goal is with the bike, as far as like what you want it to look like, how you want the seating position and all that stuff to be. And every part of that, like figuring out, what tires you want, what grips you want, all that stuff is the most exciting part.
Yeah.
So, I like every part of the build, but starting a new build and figuring out all that stuff is probably the most exciting part.
Cool. So you participated last year. You built your hardtail Virago.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And was that the only show you went to? Was just the Wyld Stallions one, or did you take elsewhere?
No, that was the only show I went to. I only did the Wyld Stallions show, and then I just enjoyed the bike until I ultimately blew it up.
Right.
So, and then, like I said, over wintertime, I wound up building a new motor for it, putting that in. So that one, I got to finish buttoning that all up and getting it back on the road. This year, I'm actually going to be taking the Goldwing to the Dam show this year. So that'll be pretty cool.
Myself and a couple of my brothers, we went to Mama Tried. Have you ever been to there?
Nice.
You been there?
I have not.
Dude, it was way cool. It was way cool. So many cool bikes. Definitely recommend that. Check it out. Just so many.
I have heard a lot of good things about that show. Same thing with I tried to get into Garage Brute actually last year with my bike. I didn't get in, but I did throw my hat in that ring, see if they would be interested in me showing my bike. I think that was the only show that I entered into after the Wyld Stallions.
Yeah. So you're planning on doing more builds maybe next year too, or?
Yeah, possibly next year. I guess we'll see how this year goes as far as the build. But yeah, no, I'd definitely be interested in doing another build next year as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So what are you riding? What's your daily rider? A Gold
right
Wing?
now, an 84 Goldwing Aspencade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's
Nice.
that, and then I have an '84 Yamaha Virago X 1000,
Oh,
but it's like it's king queen seat. I've got a set of real narrow bars on it. 2-1 intake. It's high compression, cammed 920 now. So
oh,
it's 920 cylinders, 750 heads, 1,000 cams, and then so it's a nice build, little motor.
yeah.
It's super fun. It's my favorite bike to ride that I've ever owned. I love the thing.
Yeah, I
But
had
yeah,
a,
the Goldwing is very, very close second.
yeah, them Gold Wings, they're just so comfortable. I mean,
They are.
yeah, I mean, and reliable.
Yes.
I mean,
I'd like to get 4 more of like my ride. So the Goldwing is my bike that I ride with my wife when she wants to go riding with me. I'd like to actually get an F6B Goldwing
oh,
so that her and I have a newer fuel injected, more modern, reliable bike.
right. Yeah, they're crazy reliable anyways. How many
Yep.
miles do you have on your 84?
My 84 has 97,000
Yeah,
and some change.
yeah, just nuts, the miles that you can put on
Yeah.
them.
Oh, it
You,
really is. Well,
you know
consider this.
Dan the man,
I do not know Dan the man.
so he's a Goldwing. You got the banana yellow Goldwing. You see him, I mean, like everywhere.
Okay.
But he is everywhere on that bike. I cringe to think how many miles are on that bike.
I mean, there's people with Goldwings that have put 1,000,000 miles.
Oh
on
yeah,
them.
and I would bet that. I mean, he is just everywhere with that thing.
Nice.
He'll probably be in Owasso.
Heck yeah.
I would bet.
Well, he'll have to come check out my Goldwing.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Mac. Thanks for taking some time out and chatting with us.
Absolutely.
I'll send you a link. I'm gonna drop this on Wednesday morning. So
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
yeah, cool. I know you're
coming out to the show.
Oh, I will be at the show.
Good.
I will be at the show.
Good. Have you been to Wausau Vintage Days before?
I have not. So
it is actually the show on its own, even without the Wyld Stallions there. The show on its own is actually a pretty cool show.
Right.
I mean, there's a guy. He brings his Nimbus out to the show.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some pretty old bikes there, and then on top of that, you get to check out some cool choppers.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
it'll be a good show.
I'm pretty geeked about it. Like I said, I had a blast at Mama Tried. I ended up taking pictures, and actually, you'll see some of the pictures, I believe, in next month's issue of Thunder Roads. So, because I wrote a little article and everything. So, yeah, I'm geeked. I'm going to have a very busy summer this year, and I'm fine with that because it's all motorcycle stuff, and I love it. So,
good.
Yep. So, thanks for taking some time out and chatting with us. Good luck with your build. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you.
Sounds like it's gonna be pretty wicked.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, everyone's bike is just. I talk to them and I'm just like, oh man, that's gonna be so cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough competition this year.
It definitely will be.
It'll be tough.
I mean, I know a lot of people are building Harleys. I know there's a lot of iron heads and shovel heads, so that should be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, there's some unique stuff.
Good.
There's going to be a trike.
Yeah, Terry's building a trike this year.
Yeah, Terry Scott. Yeah.
I toyed with the idea of building a Goldwing trike this year, but I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for a trike yet.
Oh, he went like old school freaking. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool because it's a rare, unique bike in the first place.
Well, it's a RUP, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that should be pretty cool when it's done.
Be pretty neat. I'm excited to see that. And there's everybody's bike is just like, oh man, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like I said, there's a lot of talented people this year.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough competition.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's cool though.
That's okay. It's about having fun anyway. So,
yeah,
if you win a trophy, that'd be awesome. But if not, as long as you had a good time doing it.
Yeah. Yep. Should be good.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, thanks for taking some time out and chatting with us. Good luck, and I can't wait to see your bike.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it either.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. There you go, Mack Blank, building a Gold Wing Cafe racer. This should be pretty badass. Pretty exciting. Like I said, everybody's got such cool ideas. It kind of makes me wish that I could build a bike besides something out of Legos. But hey, if you come in studio, I'll show you my Lego build. That's all I got for you guys and girls. You know what they say, life is short, bikers, so get after it. Thanks for listening to the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. Remember, bikers, life is short. Get after it.